Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Let's Make a Better World. I'm your host, David Tear. I haven't made any videos on this channel for about 10 months, but I'm going to do one. I think it's really important I do this one. And the video I want to do today, it's called No to Trump. And, I got to be really careful that I stay within my time limit. I'm only allowed to make a video up to 15 minutes long for some reason on this channel. But anyway, I want to start by talking about the debate. I'm pretty sure most of you watched the debate last week between Trump and Biden. I was just so appalled by it. I mean, I've been watching the debates for my whole life. I'm 62 years old, and I've been watching presidential debates ever since Nixon, and I've just never seen a presidential debate anything like what I watched last week. I mean, I'm just appalled. I mean, it was just so obvious to me that just about everything Trump said was a lie. He was just lying through his teeth, and all he did, he was just so unprofessional. All he did was attack Biden. He didn't even answer the reporters' questions that were posed to him. And just about everything he said was a lie. And I mean, it's just so obvious to me. The guy's crazy. The guy's a madman. He has 34 criminal indictments against him. You know, our Supreme Court gave him immunity so he can run for president again. I'm scared of him. I mean, I didn't like a single thing he said at the debate. And I mean, what's even scarier to me right now than Trump is just how many people are taking him seriously. I mean, I just think people, in my opinion, anybody in this country who is seriously considering voting for Trump again is just nuts. I mean, I don't know what they're thinking. And, the closest thing I can think of to this is Nazi Germany. They were a democratic country. I'll get more to that later. But, I'm just so horrified by the debate. And, my time is limited, like I said, for this talk. But maybe I want to back up a little bit now. I want to talk about how I think America's declined as a country. I was born in this country. I've been an American citizen my whole life. I'm 62 years old. I was born in 1962. And, I think we used to be a pretty great country. At least I used to think we were. I mean, I think we were. I think most of our history, there's a lot of things I'm proud about America. We were the first big democracy in the world. Yeah, we had slavery the first 100 years or so, but we were certainly a lot better than all the European kingdoms. Certainly a lot better than Great Britain, who we rebelled against. I'm proud of what our founding fathers did. They formed an amazing country, founded on democratic principles of the people, government of the people, by the people, and for the people. That's what our founding fathers envisioned. That's mostly what they got. But right now I don't see it that way anymore. I mean, I think, like I said, I think I think things only really started getting bad with Reagan. I mean, 60s and 70s were pretty good. Yeah, it's true. We had Vietnam in the 60s and early 70s. And we had Watergate with Nixon. We've had our share of problems. We've had our share of problems our whole history. But, one good thing about the 60s, we used our First Amendment rights of free speech to get out of Vietnam. The people didn't want to go. The draft age people, the ones who'd been drafted, or the ones that didn't want to be drafted, they demonstrated. They used their First Amendment rights to demonstrate against Vietnam, and we got out. We got out because of what they did. And to me, that's democracy in action. That's what makes our country great. you know. And, we're a good country in the sense that people, at least in theory, can live whatever kind of life they want. They can follow their dreams. I don't really like the whole idea of the American dream, but, the whole idea that, we can pretty much do what we want with our lives. I think that's what makes us a great country. But, you have to understand freedom in the right way, too. Freedom doesn't allow us to infringe on other people's rights, other people's freedoms. We have to respect everybody, But I think for the most part, we were doing all this in the 60s and 70s. And I'll tell you how I think our country got bad with Reagan. Our government stopped doing things for the people. We started becoming a country for the rich, starting with Reagan. I think Reagan was a puppet. I don't think he even knew really what was going on. He was a senile man. Everybody's talking about how Biden's senile now. Trump, I mean Reagan was much more senile. Reagan, he gave presidential addresses where it was very clear he didn't even know what he was talking about. There was one presidential debate where our address, where he talked about an Air Force pilot. He described how brave he was in the air. Turned out he was reciting the plot of a World War II movie. I mean, come on. And like, I mean, just things have been getting worse and worse since Reagan. We've had more and more division between rich and poor. I mean, basically, the government's not running this country anymore. It's corporations. It's all money. We're being run by military-industrial complex. This is exactly what Eisenhower tried to warn Americans against, and he was a Republican back in the 1950s. I mean, we're just not the country we were. And God, I mean, now I have to talk a little bit more about Trump. I mean, Trump just makes me sick. It was bad enough that he was president once. I couldn't even believe that he won in 2016. Nobody expected him to win. All the projections were for Hillary, and she did win more popular votes. She won 3 million more popular votes. Our electoral college is rigged. I mean, it's the small states in the middle of the country. The ones, that they have more representation because they get an extra two people in the electoral college. Every state has at least three electoral votes, even if they're the smallest state in the country. So the smaller states in the middle of the country, those all go to the Republicans. We didn't even used to have red and blue states. This is a new phenomenon. Our country's becoming divided geographically. This only started in this millennium, I think. And Trump was just so bad the first time around. I mean, I thought he was the worst president we ever had first time he was president. Yeah, I think he was the only president we ever had that didn't care about America, didn't care about our country. He only cares about himself and his own power and his own megalomania. I think he's the closest thing we've had to Hitler. And I think he's going to be even worse this time. I'm scared. I'm scared of what I think he'll do as president. I think he worked with Putin. And, I think Putin even helped him get elected the first time. Putin tried to invade Ukraine. I mean, he did. He attacked Ukraine. He didn't succeed in completely invading it. But I think he will. If Trump wins again, he'll take over Ukraine. And he'll probably take over some other countries too. I mean, Putin will, I mean, we could have World War III. I'm pretty scared about that. That's what I see going on. Trump doesn't even want to keep NATO. Trump only cares about himself and America, and the whole campaign of making America great. That is just bullshit. He has made America a lot worse. I mean, COVID-19, he didn't do a goddamn thing about COVID-19. He wanted to develop herd immunity. He even encouraged his supporters not to wear masks. There were 1 million deaths in America due to COVID-19. Even more overseas. One of the first things Biden did when he became president, he got everybody vaccinated, all Americans vaccinated, and he even, made sure that vaccines got shipped overseas to India and other places where it was needed. I don't think he was a bad president at all. I think he was a good president. He undid a lot of the damage Trump did. And God, Trumpism. I mean, I think what scares me even more than Trump is all his supporters. It's like Nazi Germany. The Germans voted for Hitler. Don't forget that. Germany was the most progressive country in the world during the early 20th century. I don't know why we had World War One. I don't think that was really Germany's fault. I think that was just a lot of crazy nationalism in Europe. It wasn't just Germany; it was also England and France and Italy. They were just all trying to kind of outdo each other. Turned into a horrible war. No good reason for it. And the only reason we got involved in World War One was to break the stalemate. And I guess we sided with England and France against Germany. And yeah, World War II partly was revenge against World War One. And Hitler, he was in the right place at the right time. He had the support of the German people. The Germans wanted a scapegoat. There was already a lot of anti-Semitism in Germany. He just appealed to that. And yeah, it was during the Depression. Everybody was out of work. Germany's economy got destroyed. So the German people were desperate. They wanted someone who could fix things. Hitler did exactly what Trump is trying to do, make Germany great again. And the German people, at least the people who voted for Hitler, they didn't have any problem. He told the Germans he planned on killing all the Jews in the world, and they were just fine with that. You know, Trump is lying. I mean, I don't know what Trump wants to do. Yeah, I know he wants to have a border. His big thing is securing the border. He already split up families in Mexico. And he's just trying. He's a fear monger. He's trying to make us afraid. And the people who like Trump, they're drones. They're not thinking for themselves. I've always thought outside the box. I'm on the spectrum. I like to think logically. I try to think about what's really going on. I try to think for myself. And I think anybody with half a brain who thinks for themselves, they're not going to fall for Trump's antics. They're not going to try. I mean, I think wisdom and courage are the two pillars to strength of any society. And Trump doesn't want us to have those things. He wants to be cowards and ignoramuses, so that we'll just blindly follow him. And that does not sit well with me at all. I mean, and so I think I've said enough. My time's almost up. My conclusion here: I think anybody watching this video, I just strongly urge you guys not to vote for Trump and to vote for whoever's running against him. Whether it's Biden, or if Biden steps down like a lot of people want him to do, and someone else in the Democratic Party's running against Trump. Trump will vote for whoever's running against him. I don't care who it is. I'd vote for Nixon against Trump. Anybody to keep Trump out. Really. I mean, Trump is just so scary to me. We cannot afford to have Trump as presidency again. I don't even want to think about what's going to happen if he wins again. So no to Trump. No to Trump, please. And I wouldn't just urge no to Trump. I would urge you guys to do what I'm planning on doing. I've been politically active in the past. I've been to four political demonstrations in my life. Two of them in the 80s when Reagan was president. I demonstrated, my first demonstration was in downtown Chicago, a March for Peace, Jobs, and Justice. My second demonstration was a much bigger one in Washington, D.C. I demonstrated against apartheid and U.S. involvement in Central America. I like to think that I played a very small role in bringing about the end of apartheid. I'm really glad we don't have that anymore. And one thing I want to emphasize with you guys: never give up hope. However bleak things seem, there's always hope. And I think America's actually been through worse times than we are right now. I can't even imagine what the Civil War was like. I hope we never have anything like that again. I can't imagine what slavery was like. I can't really imagine what the Great Depression was like, although I think we're getting pretty close to that now. Maybe we are as badly off as we were during the height of the Depression. I kind of think we are in a lot of ways. But we've gone through tough times in the past. We can get through this one. But we have to do the right things. And I think the first right thing we all have to do is just oppose Trump. Make sure he doesn't get reelected. And if he does, do everything you can to fight the son of a bitch. Because I do not want to see him as president again. And I hope enough of you guys don't either. So, no to Trump. And that's all I have to say for today. So, thank you for watching. Bye.